Good,
Hallelujah.
amazing greetings.
Good greetings and beautiful and abundant blessings to you today. How's it going there? You look frozen.
Yeah, I'm out by the coast over here, as you can hear.
Okay. You're on your phone, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Okay, cool. So are you ready to start, eh? You know today is about protein.
For sure. Go for it, bro.
Okay, cool.
Welcome to the day.
Okay. Good greetings and beautiful and abundant benevolent blessings to all of you wonderful souls out there. Kiara Dukas here.
It's Andreas here.
And we are from SynerChi Organics, and we are the beautiful co-founders of this wonderful company. This company is fully and completely immersed in superfoods, nutritional superfoods, and guiding you onto becoming your better, leaner, healthier, more higher vibrational quality lifestyle. So thank you for being here with us today. Today's series is going to be on protein, as we have said. We released our first video yesterday, so we'll leave that up here right now in the link right above. You'll just tap on that and you will get taken right to that link right there so that you can watch that video that we did that was all about beyond nutrition, and it was the fundamentals and the foundations of nutrition. But today we're speaking about protein, and we're very, very excited to talk to you about this hot international topic that is causing scientists, biologists, individuals just to be asking a whole lot of questions as to where our history has come from in terms of protein and what it is that we actually need to know about protein and why that's such a functional macronutrient in the body. But with that being said, Itan, I'm in a t-shirt over here. You're in a jersey over there. We're in the same country. Isn't that interesting, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure you guys can hear the waves crashing in the background there. I'm barefoot here, busy walking close to the beach. I'm here in Kleinmond, beautiful South Africa. Glorious day. You can see the sun shining on my forehead, and yeah, it's just really enjoyable. So, yeah, just here, loving life.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. As cold as it is in my cave here in my place, outside is pretty warm actually. So that's quite nice. It feels like spring is really coming quite fast. So thank you for that.
Yes, please.
To our beautiful SynerChi Organics community, you guys watching this video right there, right now, what we want you to do is please hit that thumbs up for us right now so that you can pump our algorithm right there. And remember to hit that notification bell so that you know when we release the rest of these series and these videos along the line, which is, of course, every Friday at this moment. So ding, 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 ding. And remember, if you have any questions or you want to ask us anything or you want to know anything about what it is that we're sharing, just right down below. Okay, thank you very much. So guys, with that being said, let's get straight into the content today. What is protein? Well, protein is, first of all, a macronutrient, like you have protein, carbohydrates, fat, sugars. Okay. Then those break down into each little segment. What is protein made from? Protein is made from amino acids. What makes amino acids? Well, we'll get onto that later on in the video. But right now, let's talk about protein and why it's so important for the body. Okay, so the big hype about protein, right, Etan, is we need to suck down protein like by the liter, by the kilo, whatever you guys are thinking about out there. Now, we see these big bodybuilders in the industry. They have big, beautiful, muscular bodies, and they're gorgeous. But just remember that takes years and years and years of development. But basically, protein and how it functions in the body is that protein as a macro mineral, a macronutrient, helps the body to grow new body parts, okay, throughout the time. So organs, skin, hair, nails, DNA, bone structure, etc. Now, Etan, could you tell us a little bit about what the importance of protein is in the body, and if you can name 3 sources of protein, high value protein, from a meat source and then from a plant-based source, please?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, protein has a diversity of different qualities when expressed inside the body. Omegas and essential fatty acids are ever present in there. That's what you're calling about the micronutrients. The protein is made up of those omegas and essential fatty acids. And of course, our brain functions a lot on those omega acids, essential fatty acids. And it's fantastic to see the fact that, glucose, when broken down in the body, goes straight to the brain. And the brain has the ability to, draw in thoughts, allow us to think, allow us to action. And of course, all hand gestures, all movement in the body is related to the brain. So the brain definitely does require a lot of that protein. I mean, just as an example, omega-7 found in MCT oil is a fantastic source to assist in revitalizing that brain and getting that refreshing sort of feeling going on. When it comes to, the fallacy about having a specific protein source to get to, otherwise you're lacking nourishment. As I mentioned, it's a fallacy. We are hot on the topic about biodiversity in the body. When you go into an ecosystem like a jungle or a forest, it has so many different species in it. It doesn't just have, a citrus orchard or an olive orchard or whatever the case is, that is pulling nutrients out of the soil and it's not really adding back into the soil. So think of our body as soil, and all those nutrients and that biodiversity comes through plants of all different types. People don't recognize or know this, but you could get different sources of proteins from different sources of plants and plankton and kelp and just all kinds of things. So when we're thinking narrow-minded, we're saying, okay, we can only get protein from a meat source. Just recognizing the fact that meat source is getting its protein from a specific source, and that source is plant-based. So why not cut the middleman out, excuse the pun, and just go straight to the source? And that's exactly why we are so passionate about biodiversity and the bioavailability in our body. We really want to get as many different things as possible so that our body can pick and choose. Because remember, it's happening at an automatic stage over here. We don't need to think how to break down the protein or where to compartmentalize it and put it inside of our body and where it needs it most. Our brain, body, and our soul does that for us. So when we get that diversity in things like spirulina, kelp, hemp protein powder, the body's going to pick and choose where those nutrients want to go. So I love that biodiversity is a key factor when dealing with any sort of nutrient, but protein is definitely a hot topic.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And I like the fact that you bring into that animals and animal protein that humans are consuming obviously comes from eating their grasses and their foods, which have protein in them already. So that's really phenomenal that you brought that information up, because I think it's quite a hot topic in the world where people don't realize that we're having to struggle to digest animal proteins in the body. It takes longer. It takes 3, 4, 5 days, depending on how functioning the digestive tract is, for some individuals to digest meat. And if you do the math behind that, if that piece of steak has 20 grams of protein in it, that that 100-gram piece of steak has 20 grams of protein in it and it's taking 4 to 5 days to digest, that doesn't make sense. You're eating something like that where it's taking that long to digest and you're only getting 20 grams of protein over the 4 to 5 days. So why would you struggle to do that and then on top of it add more of those kinds of proteins to the body, waiting for it to digest still further on? So some people might argue, well, then there's a latent effect, well, then because you're piling it in, that you're getting 20 grams then a day, where that isn't going to be true, because you're piling in food into your stomach, and your stomach as your first brain requiring absolute gut health to process those materials into the relevant minerals and the macro and micro minerals that the body requires, is obviously going to show people that if it takes that long to digest, you're piling up food in the stomach. You're making the stomach more acidic, okay? Whereas if you're having sources, and there are over 180,000 different sources of plant-based materials that we can consume that have protein in them, okay? 180,000 sources. Whereas we're eating from the animal kingdom, yeah, there's maybe a couple hundred, okay? Where we're talking about your day-to-day sources, there are under 10, okay? So we are very, very misconstrued about the information of protein and its responsibility. Now, tell us a bit about the digestibility of plant protein versus alternative protein sources. Ethan?
Well, fantastic, great question. Whole hemp seeds, or hemp seeds just in general, they got a protein in it called edestin. And this edestin is closely related to the globulin in our bloodstream. It's pretty much identical. So when you consume that, the body and bloodstream is saying, okay, I recognize this nutrient, let me work through it. So it's not as of forcing it through the system. Comparatively speaking, if you go look at carnivores, they have a much smaller digestive tract. So their colon is a lot shorter, which means that what they eat goes out pretty quickly. And they themselves digest that, whereas our colon is a lot longer. That means that what the colon is digesting has to take time. The colon has to pull out those nutrients. From a constellation perspective, Virgo is responsible for that gut health. So the digestive system, you want to feel relaxed. When you get that heavy, dense feeling after a meal, that's too much acidity being thrown inside the body, and that is making you feeling slumpish. You're basically feeling down and out and tired. You don't want to get to that stage. So you want to have the biodiversity, again, available inside the system. When it comes to the plants, definitely plants have a fiber source, a low carbohydrate source. They have certain glucose. They have multi-minerals in them, generally speaking. So, to me, the digestive system is very important. You don't want to stress it out, because that stress is going to go straight to your brain and it's going to make you feel fatigued. And just remember, our bodies are very resilient. So over a long period of time, that resilience wears off and our body deteriorates. And, we start to pick up dis-ease or disharmony in the body because of that resilience. So we can be resilient and do pumping of iron and get this bicep going. That's resilience, and that's building this muscle here. So think of it as the same thing. When you go into the jungle, you can see the jungle busy trickling down leaves, and that biodiversity is becoming available on the ground for the plants and the trees and even the animal species to reabsorb that. So you start to get this whole ecosystem. Whereas if you had to just have, say, just one crop out in the field, the locusts come in and that crop is highly exposed, firstly from a commercial aspect, but secondly from a nutrient aspect. So we want to be able to have our colons, have our digestive system, have our stomach work in harmony with the environment around us. So we're gonna completely like take this to the next level. Biodiversity, bioavailability in the body, where you're getting your sources is a very important question.
Fantastic. Appreciate that. So essentially, plant-based sources have a very wide variety of minerals, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, trace minerals as well, that really are essential to those building blocks that people and scientists call protein, right? So if we look at the word protein, and protein is the finished molecule that then is converted into tissue, muscle, hair, bone, fiber, skin, etc., organs. And that protein eventually dies out at some point, and each organ in the body part is slowly but surely replaced. And it takes about 2 years to replace all the organs in the body, including the heart. And I'm not saying that your body takes your heart out and replaces it. That's not what I'm saying. It's healing and repairing the heart, the dead cells one by one. And that's why detox, which is going to be our next video, is the most important part of making sure that the body can absorb the right minerals and the right nutrients like protein. So with protein and its functionality, and us finally understanding what the word protein means in the body and to humans in the body, yes, it does. It does build good quality lean muscle. But how does it do that? Let's start off at the next step before protein. So we started off at the finished molecule. Now we're coming to the next step, what makes protein, and that is amino acid chains. So you get 20 essential and non-essential amino acids in the body. Now, Ethan, could you tell us what the importance is of amino acids and the difference between the non-essential and essential amino acids and how those build protein, please?
Sure, brilliant. Essential and non-essential, fantastic. That's definitely pulling in. I want you to expand on that, Kiara, because I know that your knowledge in there is incredible. The essential and non-essentials, basically what the body does require in order to be out of survival mode, and the non-essentials more about adding on top of that diversity again. So emphasize the word acid, and our bodies sit in a slightly acidic state continuously. So if we continue to add highly acidic things into our body, our alkalinity is going to drop lower and lower and lower. So we're always wanting to achieve more and more alkalinity in the body, simply because we naturally sit in a more acid environment there. So yeah, I mean, Kiara, I did mention Ediston there. You did mention those 20 essential amino acids. Those are vital cell repair, skin damage, scar tissue. There's a whole variety of different qualities it can bring to the system. But overall, those are what we need in order to function on a daily basis, survival, but thrive. We want to be able to thrive in our environment. So we want that diversity. Once again, we don't just want to survive just on 10 amino acids or 5 amino acids. So yeah, I'd love that. Can you expand on that, Kiara?
Yeah, sure. So we definitely wouldn't be able to survive on 5 amino acids at all. The body requires all amino acids, just some in higher quantities. So your non-essential amino acids are the amino acids that your body produces itself and that are not necessarily required in high volumes from outside sources of the body, i.e. food, but the body produces them in such a way that, as an example, if you're a person that doesn't exercise or doesn't train or anything like that, your body just requires X amount per day. Let's just, for the sake of this conversation, say it's 1 gram, okay? And we'll touch on this topic just now. Let's just say it's 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight through the day, okay? So if you weigh 50 kilos, you'll need 50 grams of protein through the day, okay? And that would be spread out throughout your meals throughout the day. Now, your body has enough amino acids to produce that protein for that body from the non-essential amino acids. From the essential amino acid side, you would need to get those amino acids from outside sources, and those outside sources of amino acids the body doesn't produce, okay? Therefore, the combination of the essential and the non-essential amino acids combine and synthesize to create your 20 essential and non-essential amino acids, which then become the foundational building blocks for your protein and your final protein molecule. So those essential amino acids are very, very crucial to the body in specific doses. And let's just say that you're a person that's very athletic, that does bodybuilding, etc. You would perhaps require a higher dose of protein, and let's just say 1.5 grams of protein, so just simplicity for the conversation, 1.5 grams of protein, as opposed to a person that doesn't exercise who just requires 1 gram of protein. So the person who's exercising, and let's just say they also weigh 50 kilograms, they would require a higher protein uptake because the body is tearing and destroying muscle mass and tissue, which needs to be healed and repaired, and that is healed and repaired through protein, i.e. amino acids. And with the protein and the essential and non-essential amino acids, the body then can build the DNA that is used to then construct the rest of the body. Now, we'll touch on the DNA topic in a short little while, but those are the foundations of amino acids and what their function is. Now, as an example, Etan brought up hemp, and hemp is a protein called edestin, as he mentioned, and that is closest related to the human blood globulin, okay, which makes up for 65% of our blood matter. And hemp, specifically hemp protein, I'll let Etan touch on that one.
Well, hemp protein, you get in a variety of different sources. The higher fiber source is the protein powder. Usually that comes in, a 20% or there's regularly a 33% out there in the market. We offer 50% hemp protein, and this is more fibrous in complexion and has this green. So that's chlorophyll that's filled inside that. That's the outer shell, basically assisting the body in gut digestion and all the rest. If you look on our website, we offer a 70% protein. That relates to basically the seed, the inner nuts of the seed, called whole hemp seed. They take that and we refine that into a fine powder. And basically, the more you refine the powder, the higher quality protein you get, and the less of the other minerals and nutrients you're getting in as well. So it's actually targeting just protein. It's targeting that muscle regeneration and muscle repair and muscle building, definitely. So one of our favorites Actually, it is our favorite source of it is the hulled hemp seeds. We call them hemp hearts. Check them out on our website. Absolutely fantastic. You could just, I believe Kiara, he ripped open a bag one day and he did a video and he just chucked it straight in your mouth. It is that delicious. So we always get that tested out with clients and what have you. And that's just an easy way. You could sprinkle it on a salad. You could put it in your pasta. You could put it in a smoothie, in your oats bowl. It's really diverse. Whereas the fibers and the proteins, certainly you're going to mix it in with a baked goods. You know, we don't often recommend baking with proteins simply because it decreases the quality of that protein. So again, you're baking your steak. How much quality protein is left in there is a very good question. So you want to get those those raw minerals and nutrients and proteins inside the body so that your body can use that acid, which is basically burning it down and breaking it up and allowing it to separate and inside the body so that the body can take it. So yes, we have our hot meals, and yes, you can bake with the goods, all kinds of proteins, pea protein. You know, I mean, you get a wide variety of different proteins in the market, spirulina, but generally you wouldn't cook spirulina. You just put it fresh inside something. So that's that chlorophyll rich. You don't want to go and destroy the minerals that are inside that plant. You want your body to absorb it.
Thank you. So that's a beautiful description on hemp protein and how important those are. And hemp protein is a complete protein. It contains all 20 essential and non-essential amino acids, and so do the hemp hearts. And the wonderful thing about the hemp hearts is that they have a very high omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acid content, which will be on the next video. Okay, and the power of healthy fats in the body and how that helps the body to remain in a state of ketosis, which is continuation of burning fat and using it to create muscle. Okay, so I wanted to touch on other protein sources in the market, like isolate or whey protein. Let's very specifically speak about isolate whey protein or even isolate pea protein. I'm not distinguishing the difference between two sources of protein from animal or plant. I'm speaking more specifically about the isolate. Now, isolate are generally high concentrations of protein, anything from 85% upwards would be considered an isolate, okay? Now, isolates can be extraordinarily seemingly beneficial because of the sales and the marketing that goes behind an isolate, but an isolate is exactly what it says. In the pharmaceutical industry, what they do is they draw out a very specific molecule out of a plant matter, and that's what is then used to create that specific medicine. So it's an isolated molecule that is very concentrated. Now, we all know that too much of something in the body isn't good for us, okay? So a whey or an isolate or a pea isolate, isolated protein molecule is not good for the body, okay? It puts extreme stress on the kidneys, okay? And you could cause kidney damage and kidney failure and kidney toxicity and kidney poisoning. Now, I'm sure this is something all of our beautiful community do not want to go through or experience, because not only is it extremely painful, but you could also lose your kidney, okay? That's how extreme it is. And even more worse than that, you could potentially lose your life if you overdose on high isolated protein for a long enough period of time, okay? There are many, many studies across the world where bodybuilders have literally collapsed because of the amount of protein stress that they've put on their bodies. And this is the thing, is that if you're a person who doesn't train, you just need to stick to 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. Whereas if you are an athlete, you can go up to about 1.6, 1.7 grams of protein per body weight. And I'm talking about a mild athlete. If you're a bodybuilder, you can stretch that to 2 grams per day, per kilogram per body weight. And that's generally what they do, 2 to 3 grams. But it becomes excessive, and your kidney then starts to take huge stress, which causes other health issues along the line. So overdosing on too much of one thing isn't good for the body. Now, Etan mentioned 70% protein. That's probably about the maximum that I would look at in terms of protein quantity before it starts becoming an isolate. Now, with that, I have that in my tonic, boom, every day. Can't really see it, but I pumped it out. I have that in my tonic every day, okay? And I tell you something, guys, I have a little teaspoon of that. And that's pretty much the protein that I get from an additional source of protein other than what I'm eating throughout the day. And I may not have giant muscles, but I've got a pretty good set of muscles. My skin is good. My nails are good. My hair is good. My body's good. My body functions. I don't have any internal pain or any of that kind of stuff where I would be experiencing from overnourishment of a particular mineral in the body. So, Etan,
Well,
please touch on that a little bit.
well, I'll start definitely where you finished off over there. You're not an athlete. You're not training 6 times a day, and you're not this athlete that wants to get biceps to go and show off on stage. That's not your main goal. If that's your goal, that's fantastic. We really admire that. But just remember, don't be concerned about protein and size. It's about the quality of protein that comes inside your system. When I'm training to want to be the world's best Formula One driver, as an example, I'm of course going to be training non-stop, and that muscle is going to grow, consciously, mentally, physically, emotionally, and my whole environment is going to be around that. So that's how something grows, is the amount of concerted effort that we put in, not the quality of protein or the amount of food and all the like carbo loading and counting and all the rest. You see, that supports the system for sure. Now we move on to the isolate part of the statement. You mentioned it. It could be very dangerous in instances. Synthetic medications, we know that long term they cause incredibly disastrous things in many different facets. And because you go to the doc for one thing, then they add another thing, and that creates 3 other problems, and then you add on to that, and it's just an endless cycle of that. So just be careful about isolating your proteins or your minerals or your nutrients. Although it might have good intentions, stick to isolates for a short period of time if absolutely necessary, okay? Because they do have a place. They are there to serve a purpose, so long as we don't believe that we have to take it for the rest of our lives. That was the one thing. The isolate in terms of, say, whey protein, again, it's being isolated, it's being refined, it's being pulled out. And more often than not, when isolating a specific molecule, they use synthetic chemicals to pull out those, and those then are attached to the isolate in which you have. So those are going inside your body, and that's causing other problems inside your system as well. When dealing with an isolate, you also need a stabilizer in most instances, So that also is another chemical add. So you see these stabilizers and preservatives and all kinds of things to help that isolate stay in place and not go off and become rancid, because how protein becomes rancid is through oxygenation, right? So yeah, that's a fantastic thing to see. So when we deal with whey proteins, that's basically cheeses, milks, dairies, products of all different kinds from different sources. Again, like that bioavailability is okay. It's like what you're saying is good, but milk products, dairy products produce mucus. And when you take that mucus is congesting your piping system. So when we breathe in and out, we basically expanding and contracting that piping system, your veins, your arteries, your colon, whatever it is it may be. And that's pushing through that mucus through your system. Now, we can say that, hey, somebody gets a heart attack. That's because their heart has been congested by synthetic things that the body can't process. So if, and I'm excited to talk about the detox video at some point, but if you don't detox all of that old gunk, that plaque, that everything, it has to find a place to go and sit. And we call that osteoarthritis, or we call it a heart attack, or we call it tuberculosis. So just be very careful about the preservatives, the chemicals that come inside it. Read the label, read the ingredients, question it, research it. And if you don't have time, that's okay. Like, take a photo of it and be disciplined. Don't get it just because you feel it's going to be nice or your best friend advised it for you because they're taking it. Just remember, you go to the Formula One driver to learn how to become a Formula One driver. You don't go to the Formula One driver to learn how to become a bodybuilder. You know, you go to the personal trainer for that. So just be mindful about where you're receiving that knowledge. That's a very big factor involved there. So yeah, there's a couple other points I'd love to touch on, but I'm handing over the mic to you.
Thank you for that. That's a lot of really good, graceful information. Okay, so we saw protein, we saw trace minerals. We saw protein, we saw amino acids. Now, what comes before amino acids? Well, we have trace minerals and micro minerals. Trace minerals and micro minerals. So a micro mineral would be considered something like a potassium or a magnesium or a phosphorus.
Zinc.
Then you have, exactly. Then you have trace minerals that then help the micro minerals produce their construction, their volume. Okay. And so basically we need two very important molecules to convert into amino acids, which then convert into the protein. Your first one is potassium. Okay. High doses of potassium. Where do you find potassium? Baobab, banana, spinach, kale, leafy greens, etc. Very high doses of potassium. Potassium also basically helps the body then to convert those trace minerals and the potassium into amino acids, and then in different quantities of minerals and different variations of minerals, those will construct your amino acids. Your amino acids then construct your protein. Your protein's at the top of the pyramid. Okay. So with potassium and trace minerals being found in food sources as some of the most basic, you could build muscle and you could build high body quality nutritional mass, okay, body mass in a healthy way, even by juicing. How crazy is that? It's just how you get your minerals. Where are you getting your minerals? Okay, so I believe we have 1 minute left on here, so we'll just jump on the same link again.
My battery may die, so I know I have the faith in you to continue, but yeah, still on it, eh?
Okay, so we don't have too much longer anyway. So basically, then your trace minerals and your potassium then start to build your amino acids. Where with your trace minerals and your amino acids, your trace minerals and your potassium, you've also got your vitamins. So your vitamin B, which converts into energy, which then the body uses to transport those nutrients, convert them into the right molecules in the body for the right then macronutrient. Okay, so the body is a very complex but yet very simple system. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so I was on the vitamins. So basically, we need vitamins A, D, E, and K, vitamin B, and vitamin B12. Now, a lot of plant-based individuals look for vitamin B12 and believe that sorry, Itan's battery obviously died and passed out. So I guess I'll have to continue this one without him. So basically, we need vitamins A, D, E, and K, B and B12, the B collection, and vitamin C. So vitamin vitamin B12 is basically something that plant-based individuals seek for in their food because they believe red meat has vitamin B12 and other meats don't. Whereas there's a lot of plant-based foods like sea buckthorn, like buckwheat, like spinach. There's a few different plant-based sources that have vitamin B12, and vitamin B12 is a fat-soluble vitamin. Now, we'll touch on fat in another video in 3 videos' time, and why it's so important to have in the conversion of fat-soluble water vitamins, fat-soluble to create that ketosis environment in the body. So the body requires vitamin C as the #1 vitamin in the body, actually. Now, vitamin C protects the immune system. It helps with collagen production, which it helps with lowering inflammation. It helps to fight disease. It helps with white blood cell count. Vitamin C is your #1 and most important vitamin in the body. So without that, your body ain't going to go very far. So the highest and most important thing that you could do for yourself and for your body is to get those vitamins in good quantities every day. Try to get your daily nutritional value in terms of those vitamins. Just do some Google, some research for yourselves to see what that kind of level is. But basically, those vitamins are your power source. They're like your energy bank to take you to take those trace minerals, those potassium, the micro minerals, to convert them and help that energy convert into the material that your body can then use to build the mass that the body is. So vitamins are your energy and your minerals are the building blocks of the body, okay? The amino acids. Now, and your macro and micro minerals. Now, those are so important to us because at the end of the day, without those, that's where the body becomes malnourished. Now, you could be undernourished and you could be overnourished. Malnourished means to be undernourished, and overnourished means to be, of course, overnourished. So too much vitamins and minerals are also not too good for the body. However, the body can cope with excess vitamins, certain vitamins in high doses, but it can't cope with too much excess fat, too much excess sugar, too much excess protein, too much excess carbohydrates. It then converts that into storage in the body, which then you may as well go and hire a storage facility because you're going to start storing all of that excess in your body as mass, and those convert into mass. So you really want to try your hardest to avoid too much overconsumption of those materials. So it's all about the balance, and it's all about listening to your body and feeling it and making sure that your body is getting well nourished, not malnourished or overnourished. Okay. So it's that fine balance, just like the alkaline and pH that we spoke about last time. You got to find that 7.2 mark, and that would be your most optimal performance in the body. So let's get on to something very, very fun and exciting about how those vitamins, those trace minerals, then produce in the body. Because remember, I said to you, it is protein, amino acids, trace minerals, and vitamins. And then now underneath that is basically your enzymes. So enzymes, when you're getting the right enzymes in the body, in the gut, those enzymes help to convert and produce the vitamins or the food sources into the necessary vitamins. So without those enzymes, you're not going to get any of those macro or micro sources of vitamins, minerals, and fats and protein sources. Without enzymes, your body doesn't function, okay? And the enzymes in your gut are a combination of gut bacteria and fungi that basically help to break down that material. Think of how your compost in your garden decomposes. Your stomach is basically your body's tool to decompose the compost that we're composing in our consumption. So the body requires good combinations of those items. Now, with that being said, the enzymes are what help the body to function, and with good quality enzymes in the body. And that's why probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics, my goodness, just probiotics are phenomenal for the body, because those probiotics give the enzymes the energy to produce themselves in quantities high enough to digest the food, the vitamins, the minerals that the body is consuming, or that we're consuming. So those are the foundational components of building protein. And protein is such a simple structure in the body. It's literally a line with little dots along that line, okay? That's a protein molecule. Now, denatured protein means that you're breaking down that protein. So as an example, if people are eating lots and lots of red meat or meat, as we said in the beginning, you should be having things like bromelain, which comes from pineapples, which helps the body to digest. It's an enzyme. Bromelain is an enzyme that helps the body to break down protein molecules into the necessary minerals that it can use then to build up the house. Now, the body is the house, okay, of your soul. And your soul resides in this body, and the body needs to stay good, stay function in order for you to thrive, right? So the best solution for you guys at the end of the day is watch your consumption of protein, look at your labels, offer your body and consume only high quality sources of protein, high valuable protein. And if you can, and if you like, because I'm not forcing you at all, so please don't see me as a vegan soldier, because I am not. I do not label myself. We do not label ourselves in any way. We are consumers of nature. We consume what nature gives us. So if you find that your body requires more meat sources of protein, even if that be worms or crickets, because there's cricket protein out there in the world right now, by all means, go ahead and do it. But make sure that you're finding high quality, no antibiotic, no chemical based, free range meat sources, because those are the sources that are much healthier for your body, and those don't store chemicals and toxins in the body that then you have to fight off later on because you built up so much toxicity in your body. Okay, now your body tries to detox as the most important thing so that it can get rid of that stuff. But if the body is trying to get rid of too much and it doesn't have support for detox, it can't get rid of it. So there becomes a buildup, okay, which equals disease, like Etan had said earlier on. So guys, with that being said, I think this video is drawing to a close now. I think that you guys have had a lot of good information in this video. There's a lot of good resources down below. If you want to ask us any questions, if you want to book a consultation with us, please hit us in a comment below. We'll share our email address. Our email address is in the about section of this page and of our channel. So please hit that up. Please make sure that you are doing your absolute best all day, every day, in every way to make sure that you are getting the highest quality sources of good protein, okay? And plants offer that. You don't have to eat everything else, okay? Plants offer such a good wide variety, and if you just go and Pinterest and YouTube and or Google, you will find all the recipes under the sun that you could possibly even imagine that you would probably never be able to do in an entire lifetime, okay? So please go and do yourself the favor. It is difficult. Any change is difficult in the beginning, any change, but this change is worth it. Please consume good, healthy, high quality, natural bases of protein. You deserve it, and so does your body. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and share this video as far and wide as you possibly can on this, and know that this content is phenomenal for you and your family and your friends, and that we'll be releasing more of these ongoing and forward. Thank you for being here with me and Etan today. Thank you, Etan, for being here on the video. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for being part of our community. We love you guys in absolute beautiful abundance. We appreciate you to bits and pieces, and thank you for being here with us right here, right now. Thank you. Take care. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you soon.